panelist is.
Let's see, who would our next panelist be? I feel like it's somebody who always comes out before we announce him or her.
They wouldn't be that rude.
Oh, I know.
What?
Mr. Crowley!
Mark, did you have a good time last night at the show?
I had a great time last night.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was a good show last night.
Yeah.
How many of you guys saw the show last night? Well, you have a pretty cool band. What are they called?
All right, everybody, Mark Sheppard.
I love you guys. See you in a bit. Right, you lot, how you doing? That good, huh? Ooh, so we got people in the dark. Hey man, you have a good weekend? You have fun? We played the hell out of it yesterday. Enjoy. I hate it when people that should have left the stage come back on the stage. Wow. Right, I'm bored. Ask me a question.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
So?
So my question is, a lot of the cast from Supernatural has appeared on The Boys.
No. Next.
You are the king of geek culture, and so I wanted to say thank you for coming out to us, as well as I wanted to see what was your dream role that you wish you would have gotten to play.
I get to play what I like to play, so it's good. Thanks. Wow, he quit on me. Next!
Hi.
Hi! You look really nervous. You are? Oh, cool. This will really help. Hi. How you doing? Take a deep breath. Breathe. No, breathe. In and out. There you go. What's your question?
My question is there anyone real or fictional that helped you to model Crowley's personalities?
Crowley's personality?
Or just, I don't know, whatever.
I think, you know, his brilliance, his wit, his charm, all comes from an actor called Mark Sheppard. What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you like about Crowley?
Everything.
Everything? I love you.
Thank you.
Can you say it in a deep voice? I love you. Go on, try it. Now don't burp, just say I love you.
I love you.
There you go, I love that. Nice one. Right, go on, surprise me.
Okay, you said yesterday when you were talking about having uncredited cameos that you like to do. What would you say if I said I remember seeing you in a Murder, She Wrote movie from I don't know how many years ago?
Yeah, my dad is in that movie. You recognize that?
That was
So I got a phone call saying, do you want to be in it? Because your dad's in it. I was like, yeah, sure. It was literally the highest paid cameo appearance I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, it was
Because
amazing.
I have one line or two lines in the whole thing. And I went there to go shoot it at an exorbitant amount of daily rate. I was getting paid a fortune for a daily rate. And they didn't get to me for 4 days. So I was on set for 4 days. And in this Murder, She Wrote episode, this is the last one they ever did, it's called The Celtic Riddle. And Jessica Fletcher flags down a car in the middle of Ireland. And it looks like this guy's on the way to rob a post office. I mean, that's my role, I guess. She flags it down, it's the denouement where she works out what's happened. So she flags this guy down and goes, are you going to so-and-so? And I'm like, no. And she gets in anyway and goes, take me to blah, blah, blah. And I'm just really annoyed. And I mean, I was like, I have to do this. This would be so much fun to do. I got paid a fortune for it because they couldn't get around to it. And I was driving like a 1959 Ford Zodiac, which is the only British version of an American car with fins on it. And it had a, three on the tree, obviously on the wrong side, steering wheel. And she was in the back of the car and we'd have to reset. And I threw it into reverse, wheel spinned it. And drove it backwards on the universal lot at a very high rate of speed. It was a sharp intake of breath from Miss Lansbury, and she never got in the car again. So that was telling me. I did actually get to say the coolest thing to her. I said, Miss Lansbury, you're in two of my favorite films. She said, thank you. I said, yes, The Manchurian Candidate and Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which is about as diverse as you can get. But she's kind of a wonderful woman. Her son was directing it, Anthony Shaw. That's why I did it. I did it because my dad did it. Same as I did the NCIS with my dad, because Mark Harmon calls up and goes, hi, it's Mark Harmon. I'm like, why does Mark Harmon have my telephone number? I'm like, what can I do for you? And he said, your dad's doing my show, would you come and do his flashbacks? I'm like, absolutely. And again, it's like 20 seconds of me on video from 30 years ago or something, and I was there for a week and a half. So getting paid to do nothing is the best job in the entire world. Pretty much what Supernatural was about. What do you want?
Hi.
When do you want it?
So,
Don't giggle, when do you want it? Now? Okay.
So my mother, God rest her soul, was a huge fan of Supernatural and you in particular. So this question is kind of for her. Crowley has so many iconic lines. What do you think was Crowley's best line, and why was it Babe by Taylor?
It wasn't, and that line's all right, but that line was a weird, Babe by Taylor was a weird sort of affectation line that they wrote. Look, what happened is Crowley was only supposed to be there for an episode and he ended up staying for 8 years. It's a long time. And so there was an awful lot of writers that used to write Crowley. And they all used to sort of bicker over writing Crowley because they enjoyed doing it. The trouble is at the beginning when Crowley was first written, Ben Edlund, wrote it. It was written really open. I could do almost anything with it. I could change the behavior and the meaning of what I was saying, because what I was saying was very simply written, but really well written, but really simply written. And the trouble was as they got to know me doing the character, they started to write what they thought were the punchlines to everything I was doing. So it would become very, very difficult when there were lines thrown at me in a script, and I'm literally saying, how the hell can I make this work in any context whatsoever? So the struggle was real to get it to work, and that was half the fun of it. So a lot of those lines that you do remember come from me going, how the bloody hell am I going to say this and make it make any sense? No one in the history of torture has been tortured with torture like the torture you'll be tortured with. It's kind of annoying because it ends with a preposition. So it annoys the hell out of me because I want to say with again afterwards. With, torture, with, torture, with, torture, with, torture. But it's not important what lines I liked, it's important what lines you liked. And you like They Ate My Taylor because...
That was my mother's favorite line.
Because that was the first time you saw Crowley. I think Morons was, how about You Don't Miss Morons, was the beginning of showing where that character was going to go. Because as written, it could have been, how come you don't, how about you don't miss morons? It could have been really flat and been funny. But instead of that, it was me barking at him, which pays off when I give him the gun, and he points the gun at my head, goes, well, this could be over really quickly if I just kill him. He points the gun at my head, oh, you're going to need some bullets, which I think works really, really well, that they annoy the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So having to emphasize, the hardest stuff was sacrifice. The hardest dialogue was sacrifice, because I never watched Girls on HBO, and all the lines of Girls, right? You're my Marnie Moose, but it's nuts. It's as though the idea is that Crowley has been in too many motels watching HBO while vaguely becoming slightly human and adopting the stuff. This is what's purging out of him. So, there's all this stuff about, all the current TV series that were on at the time that Jeremy wrote in there, and I thought it was brilliant, but it was really funny to say that stuff. I'm just glad you like it. I'm glad your mom liked it.
Yeah. you.
Thank you, my darling. God, I actually answered the question there. What's gone wrong? Must be Sunday. What?
I was just wondering who your favorite drummer is.
I've got lots of favorite drummers. I was lucky enough to grow up in an era of music where there were great musicians, as opposed to a lot of computer-based music, etc. But the drummer's role in music when I was a kid was essential. The feel of a band was the drummer. I mean, if you think of bands who changed their drummers and were no longer interesting bands as a result, there's a lot of them. I used to think like Charlie Watts from the Stones was kind of my hero. I had a Gretsch kit, it was the same as his when I was recording, but I never played anything like him. It's not my style of drum at all. He's a big band, a jazz drummer, and that's not my forte at all. And it took me years to work out the drummer that probably had the most influence on me was Stan Lynch, who was the original drummer for the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And if you think of Breakdown and all those songs that they did back then, that's Stan. And Stan had this method, I don't know if you know a lot about music, but he had this method of playing so far behind the beat. There was this wonderful Florida laziness to what he was doing. It was this sort of dirty, sort of almost swampy feel to his playing, which wasn't popular at the time as far as pop music was concerned, but led to, it's from great groove, it's from all the music that I loved, you know, all the funk that I loved, the meters, and, you know, Ziegler no less. I mean, I know of those that are alive, I know most of my drumming heroes very well. You know, I've been a professional drummer since I was, I guess, 12 or 13 years old. But I've had the honor of meeting the people who I think are incredible, Steve Jordan, you know, Lionel Lewis, if we're going to talk about jazz or progressive drummer. But, you know, I appreciate John Bonham now, whereas I didn't when I was a kid, because music, this is a really interesting subject. I'll tell you why it's an interesting subject. So it goes down to what's happening to all of us right now. Is when I was a kid, music was tribal. Like football was tribal. Like, and you know, as you know, fandom was tribal in that context. If you had your hair a certain way, you wore certain clothes, you followed certain types of music, you did these things, and you were part of that group, and you had rival groups who you either went to war with or demeaned in some way or another, kind of like me and Misha. Just joking, but the thing is music was tribal for me. So you couldn't like heavy metal unless you had long greasy hair, leather jackets and whatever. And you know, when I was 13, punk came in, the original punk rock came in. It really sort of started when I was about 12 or so. But I didn't appreciate all of the great aspects of that. But all these bands who weren't actually punk bands became punk bands at the time because this new movement of independent music came in, which started a whole new generation of music. If you think of, you know, Sting from playing Sting songs. I know Sting from playing in a quasi-reggae punk band in 1977. You know what I'm saying? I also know the original, Henry Panavani was the original guitarist in that band. But it was very tribal, and it's to see the fact that you weren't kind of allowed to like things that fell outside your purview. And I'm finding that to be far more common now than it used to be. And what I love about these conventions, what I love about this is that no matter how embarrassing or miserable it may be, you can still dress like an idiot and everybody loves you. Yep. I love you too. The guy builds hospitals and schools, I'm just making fun. But you know what I'm saying? It's like the fact that when I was a kid and I dyed my hair electric blue, it was, you know, there was a really good chance I was going to get jumped. There was a really good chance I was going to get attacked by rival groups of people that believed in something else. That's kind of coming back. That kind of thing is coming back. And we haven't had that for a long time, especially in this country. This country was so good at the live and let live concept of it. You do you, I'll do me, which is, I think, is about as American as you can get, right? I don't like that, I'm gonna go move a farm over here, right? That's the way it should be, and that's what it is. But I think we're becoming polarized to that. And what I see in conventions, what I love in conventions, is a total lack of caring about what anybody else's MO is, as long as it comes from a reasonable place of kindness. And if it doesn't come from a reasonable place of kindness, we're probably going to try to fix it. This is what makes me laugh even more. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm a fan of all music, I'm a fan of a lot of things, but great is great. And I love the aspiration of great. Did you come to the concert last night?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
I loved it.
I thought we played the heck out of a bunch of stuff last night.
Absolutely. And my favorite drummer is Phil Collins. So.
Is Phil?
Yes.
Not one of my favorite drummers, and yet one of the most iconic drummers in history. You know, I mean, you can't fault In the Air Tonight as a piece of drumming that nobody else would do. He invented a drum beat, as did Stan Lynch with Breakdown. Everybody that starts, everybody knows what the song is. As did Kenny Aronoff with Jack and Diane, the drum fill in the middle of that. As did, you know, you go back to Funky Drum and James Brown. You go back to, there are people that are known. You know, Bernard Purdie invented the Purdie Shuffle, which is in Rosanna. It's in it's in everything. It's in half the Steely Dan catalog. There's iconic rhythms that are part of that, which I love. You know, Bonham stole it for Fool in the Rain. Stole Bernard Purdie. So he's stealing what ostensibly was black music rhythm for Led Zeppelin, which is, I think, is genius. So that cross-pollination that we have, that allowance and that ability for everybody to be themselves and just love shit, not hate shit, is just the most important thing in the world. Because that's how I discovered world music. That's how I discovered, you know, all the great things that I've enjoyed. Art is by opening my eyes and opening my heart, not by closing my eyes and shouting at people. You know? That's what it's at. What do you want?
Hi, first of all, I want to say I love Crowley. He's the best villain in the entire series.
Not a villain!
Anti-villain.
Kill less people than the Winchesters. And give me a break.
Right, the anti-hero.
How about hero?
No, he sacrificed himself, which was...
So he's a hero, not an anti-hero.
I don't know, he's got questionable morals, but
What?
he's...
To you, maybe. Not to him. That's what always bugs me. It's like, ooh, what was it like when you licked the floor? I mean, that's like Wednesday for Crowley. I always thought it was so funny that, you know, the writers were like, ooh, this is going to be really demeaning. I'm like, really? You think Crowley licking a floor is odd? There's probably a reason for it. Do you remember the wonderful girl that played Crowley when he morphed into an absolutely amazing performance by this woman? I offered her, I said, look, please, just tell her if she wants to meet me for any reason, go have coffee or something, just to see mannerisms. She's like, no. I was like, oh, okay. I watched what she did. It was absolutely perfect. She stole some of the best stuff I've ever done in the most subtle ways. And my favorite part of that is Crowley in a female meat suit, realizing that they're at a swingers party, and going, love it. Which is exactly what Crowley is, and comes back down to what I was talking about earlier. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Apart from everybody that cares, and we don't care about the people that care. Right?
Regardless of if he's a hero or villain, I think he is the smartest character in the series.
Absolutely, until season 12. And then he became the dumbest character.
So I was watching that in middle school. I was devastated. I cried in my room forever.
Forever?
It was like one of my
So it's still
favorites.
happening?
Yeah. Yeah, hold it in. So I think Crowley is smarter than Castiel, and if Castiel
Oh
was
God,
to make it out of the
yeah.
MD.
I mean, you're really setting the bar low enough to fall over.
But since Crowley's smarter than Castiel, if Castiel can make
This
it out of the
is,
MD,
here's the setup, guys. Go on.
Castiel can make it out of the MD. I totally think Crowley could. What do you think about that?
I don't think he's there, so there you go.
Where do you think he's at?
Anywhere he could be bothered to be at that didn't have people annoying him.
Love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a long debate, like back when Jeremy was running the show, it was a long debate with me and him about not giving me red eyes. It was really important to me. I was like, don't give me red eyes. Please don't do it. And he's like, why? I said, because you don't know what Crowley is. It doesn't matter what Crowley is. If Crowley was a freaking archangel, it wouldn't make a difference. Crowley was God, it wouldn't make a difference at the time to the story. When you're talking about trying to work out what Crowley is around 8, 9, that area, well, 7, 8, 9, right? And you're going, is it really important, or is it important what Crowley does? So I came from the sort of, if you think of Harry Potter, you think of, there's a certain character in Harry Potter that was the only person who knew what the story was because he was gifted that ability and stuck to that rule. So Snape knew the whole way through and would be able to go to a director and say, I'd love to do that, but I can't do it and I can't tell you why. Which is, I think, magical. I think Alan was a genius when it came to protecting that character. And in a very minor way, where are you going? Jared photo ops all ticket. Bye, nice to know ya. By the way, it's in Tulsa, so it's a bit of a walk. So I think it was really important for me to protect the character as well as I could, until it got stupid, and then it was no point. But, whatever, you get to the end of something, you can't always make it be a slam dunk. Somebody wants to go in a different direction and create something else. There's not always room for that. But I thought we protected it really well, and then Jeremy called me up one day and said, you're gonna have red eyes. I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, but I'm gonna give you smoke coming out the red eyes as well. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. So at least you know it's something different. It's not the same thing. And I thought that was a tremendously respectful, and to send all my love to Andrew Dabb, who killed my character, right? Who'd been trying to kill my character for 5 years when he killed my character. To give him the utmost respect. He wrote 21 and 22 of my final season, and I hated it. I was like, it makes no sense to me. The original draft, and I was like, I don't care. I don't think Crowley cares, to be absolutely honest, about the things that you're writing about in this. With all the love in my heart, thank you for the job. Why don't you just leave me dead when I got stabbed by Lucifer and you wouldn't have noticed the fact that I just sparked out. Didn't spark out, so it doesn't make any sense. Just put the sparks in before we release it, and I'm dead, and that's a nice shot. And he went, you know what, it's a placeholder. And he took everything that I said to him in an email that I sent, and he rewrote the end of mine to make sense, at least, of what I cared about. So I've got to give him the respect of the end of 12 for me was at least final enough for me to do it. Apart from one thing, he took out, even when I lose hope. Well, somebody took it out. And they took it out of 2 places, so it was no longer mine, because it was mine. And I was a bit like, really? We're gonna get that petty over this? But I know that at least that Andrew gave me the ability to at least sign out with some level of dignity for a character that I don't think was being served well through season 12. Does that make sense? So fair play to him, man. He put his money where his mouth was, so I will always respect him for that.
Thank you. I love you, Mark, and
I love you too. Say it deeper. I love you. Try this.
I love you.
Try this. No, listen. Hello, boys.
Hello.
It makes people giggle. I love it.
I can't do it voice like that. Hi, I'm Grace. My
But
question.
of course you are.
My question kind of unintentionally ties into the person that was in front of me. It's about music. Judging from last night, you're obviously a talented drummer. You did very well.
Compared to what?
I'm not comparing you to anything. I was wondering what inspired you to start playing the drums in the first place, and also what made you move away a little bit from music and go towards acting, I guess?
Circumstance. I guess I moved away from music when I got sober, which was 35 years ago. Wow, I haven't pissed on myself for 35. Well, no, the heart attacks don't count. I haven't pissed on myself for that reason for 35 years. So I didn't know that I could play not loaded by the time I got sober, so I didn't play for a long time. And actually, Billy Moran is Adam Malin asked me to get up and play at a convention. I was like, no, I'm good. And they just kept pushing. And Billy was like, yeah, come on, get up. And I was like, all right, I'll get up. And I went and played, and they were like, oh, you play? I'm like, well, yeah, that's how I made my living since I was since I was a kid. And it sort of became the, well, let's play, and that sort of turned into Saturday Night Special, which sort of turned into me. When I left Supernatural, I went back on tour with Robin Hitchcock, who I hadn't toured with since 1982. So there's that chapters of my life that changed. It was funny, I was playing with Carlson yesterday. I've known Carlson for 20 odd years, and he doesn't know me as a drummer. So when they were rehearsing to do the radio company song last night, which was really good, I thought it was great. Carlson was like, "But Steve, if you're playing keyboards, who's playing drums?" And he's like, "Sheppard." He's like, "He's playing drums?" It's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, he's playing drums. He'll be there." So he came up for sound check, and he's like, "Okay." He's never heard me play drums. I'm playing a song, and he's like, "Oh, okay, we're good." So it was a lot of fun to do that, to prove to some people that I knew from that time. But the reason why I started was my dad lived with somebody who's one of her sons is the drummer for Madness, Woody, and he's a couple of years older than me, and he started playing, and I wanted to be like him, so I bought a drum kit off him and started when I was about 12. So that's why I started, and then I moved into acting as something to do because somebody asked me. I did a play and I won a bunch of awards. I did a film that had 7 Academy Award nominations, and then I started killing people on American television. God. Now I get abused at conventions by people asking me stupid questions, dressed up as Columbo in a trench coat.
Thank you.
What a life. Good question. What?
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering how you think Crowley would feel knowing Rowena is now running hell.
Doesn't care. It never made sense to me that Rowena was his mother. Never made sense. It's not his mother, it's Fergus's mother. And that's so far removed from Crowley, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's incredibly lazy writing. What she did was fantastic with it. Absolutely fantastic. And as far as the plot is concerned, Crowley did not want to be King of Hell. That's the whole purpose of seasons 11 and 12. You're bored of it. You want to hang out with Dean and go and do stupid shit. You know? That's what he wanted. That was his idea of fun. He hated the idea of running hell. That was a logical conclusion to it, right? But what she did was fascinating, because if she had played my love interest, or better still, my ex-wife, we'd still be on television. We'd still be exploring the vagaries of two people trying to kill each other a la War of the Roses for, the next 25 years or so. I thought she was fantastic at it, but I had to play it as everyone else has a mother, why shouldn't I? It's as though I didn't have a mother. Does that make sense? Because Crowley's the meat suit. Fergus is not really, we never referenced Fergus before that happened. I think the whole Fergus and Rowena thing was to facilitate the return of Mary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is, it's great, but it's kind of lazy. Because we had a whole thing about Mesopotamia and things, and then none of that makes any sense. So I don't think it was really well thought out. Her performances are amazing, and the relationship is amazing, but it's more akin to somebody who is adopted than somebody who's actually birthed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, certainly on my side. I don't know about her side, but that's the way it seems to work for me. It doesn't matter. I think she was brilliant. I think she was really good. I don't think Crowley gives a fuck who's running hell. Never has.
Thank you.
Thinks it's a mess. It's like trying to get out of Dallas on the next airline.
Well, hi. So my question was, you've been on so
you changed it?
Not yet. So I just wanted to know how it's been working on like American productions versus like European productions.
Well, I didn't work on the European productions until I did Doctor Who.
Oh, until Doctor Who?
No.
Oh.
Have you not paid any attention to my career? Are you not following me? Thank you, Mary. Mary brought me coffee. I'm a happy boy.
Good job, Mary. Woo!
Mary looks after me and stops me getting into too much trouble when I'm here. So if you ever need anything from me, don't ask me. Ask Mary. Because A, it'll probably get done, and B, she'll stop me doing stupid stuff that I'm not supposed to be doing. You'll try, okay. She used to follow me around when I go native like that. She's gonna wait and see. What do you want to know? What's the difference? Food, craft service tables, hours. They broke the unions in Europe, so they finish, but you know, my call sheet on Doctor Who said, we finish at 7. I'm like, what if we go over? I said, we don't go over. I said, well, what if you haven't finished? He goes, well, then we have to poll the entire crew and ask everybody if it's okay, we can stay an extra couple of hours. And if somebody goes, I'm terribly sorry, my Auntie Gwyneth is coming over, we're screwed. Which is so European. So you basically get it done, but you have more time to get it done. It's a long, convoluted story of how America works on overtime and structure, and England works on, well, we better finish, hadn't we? It's kind of cool. What do you want?
I was just wondering about what you like better, Supernatural or being on Leverage? Like, what was
I'm
better
on
for you?
neither of them right now.
Well, they're very similar roles, so.
To who? How the fucking hell is Crowley the same as an Interpol agent? Really? Like I snap my fingers and Nate gets killed? Like, it doesn't make sense. What, you know what it is? You're confusing with the fact that the guy in Leverage and the guy in Supernatural look a lot like me.
That's true.
And you know what's really weird? They kind of sound like me too. I'm just messing with you.
Well, what did you like better?
There's no better. It's only now. Life is about now, my darling. Life's about what you have now, not what you had. If you live in the past, you're desperately living in the future, you have a really, really hard time enjoying the now. You enjoying this moment? You are? I'm enjoying this moment. You're a beautiful thing asking me a beautiful question. What better world is there than right now? Welcome. Follow that.
I'm not even going to try. Hi, Mark, I'm Lisa. I don't have a question so much as a couple comments. One, sorry, no. One, loved you with the Doctor Who. The fact that you played the younger version of your dad, I thought was really cool. And two, love your shirt. And do you know that Essie still lives just up the turnpike in Tulsa?
You know I know Susie very well, right?
Actually, I didn't.
You do, you also know she was on Supernatural. Season 7, episode 6. / fiction. Go watch it.
I watched the shows, I didn't pay attention to who's who until
Exactly. Well,
later.
one of my favorite days ever, repeated this. By the way, you sent a picture of me wearing the shirt to Susie, didn't you? Yeah? Yeah. She saw the picture of me wearing this today, so that was kind of cool. She's not traveling so much right now, but I was in a convention in Dallas, a Supernatural convention in Dallas years ago, and Susie was there, and she was sitting down in the bar, and we were having a chat, and there was a bunch of young girls, your age and below, and I said, just for a laugh, I embarrassed the hell out of her. I said, this is my friend Susie Hinton. They went, oh, hi, yeah. And I went, S.E. Hinton, and they went, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. She was mortified, she hated it. But yeah, what were you doing when you were 15?
Probably while I was in high school.
Right, but you know what I'm saying? She was writing that book.
I wasn't writing a book.
She was writing that book and moving into Rumblefish. So
Yes.
she's an extraordinary, extraordinary human being, one of the kindest women, and a massive, massive Supernatural fan.
Yes.
So you now know that about her.
I do, thank you. I just want to say, I'm guessing you've come up to Tulsa and visit her?
No, I haven't had the opportunity in a while. I haven't seen her in a few years, but my life has been very busy. But I think about her often, and between us all, we talk about her on a regular basis.
Right, because
But I would never miss the opportunity of wearing this shirt here.
Because a lot of the places she talks about in the book are all still there in Tulsa.
Yeah, I know. I've been to Tulsa. I love it. I just like.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for educating me. Appreciate it. Can't wait for your panel. Come on.
Hey Mark, I just want to say Crowley's my absolute favorite.
Of course.
I'm so glad to see you here today. You kind of answered my question, but I wanted to ask a little bit more about that season 12 finale with the theatrics that Crowley had all through the show. How did that feel for you to finish that arc in such a heroic way?
Well, you're putting a judgment on it. You're inferring that I have the same feelings as you about it.
No, I absolutely loved it and went nuts for it, but I do want to know how you felt about it.
I did. I was done. I was, you know, I knew it was going to happen. I think it primarily was a money issue. I don't think they wanted to pay me for another year with the direction that they were going. I was extremely disappointed, but I knew it was coming. So I just wanted it to be as good as it could be.
Well, it was fantastic in
I
my
think
opinion.
so. I think we did really, really well. I think, you know, I mean, it would have been nice if they left the little bits in that actually meant something to me, but who knows? I mean, it's the journey of the journey. Things change, and I'm very, very glad that my friends got to carry on for another 3 years, because it's good to be employed and it's good to do good work. So I enjoyed that too.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What?
Hi, I was at your panel yesterday and it made me wonder if my voice is acceptably deep.
No. You have to go lower.
I'll try very hard.
No, it's not working. Why does it go? I think you can mumble and it makes it deeper. It doesn't make it deeper. You actually have to be deep. What you need to do is watch Jungle Book and listen to George Sanders doing Shere Khan.
I'll try.
Bravo. That man had the most incredible voice of any human being that ever lived on the face of this planet. And the diffidence and the boredom in his voice was absolutely extraordinary. Watch him in any film he was ever in. He's Marilyn Monroe, obviously he's in Jungle Book, he's Shere Khan. But he killed himself. He killed himself, and his final parting words were, "I'm bored." And you could literally hear it in every word he ever said. It was just the most beautifully diffident voice I've never heard anyone that could do an impression of it or get close to it. But go look up his voice, you'll be like, oh my God, nobody sounds like that. Just a beautiful, beautiful tone to his voice. But depth is what it's about. My father's voice was an octave below this. So he used to talk like this. Tables would rumble when he would talk. What?
Hi, Mark. I just want to thank you for being here today. And I was afraid yesterday that I may have upset you when I said that Crowley was my favorite bad guy.
Yes, you did.
You corrected me.
Correct.
He is not a bad guy. And I got to thinking about it. I agree with you. Crowley is not a bad guy.
No, nobody's a bad guy.
And you've never played a bad guy.
Never.
I loved you in X-Files.
Thank you.
I loved you in White Collar. I think you did a phenomenal job in that.
That was a lot of fun, White Collar.
It was a great show. I really
God,
watched it.
Matt Bomer is so beautiful.
Isn't he though?
He is. I said that to Jensen. I went, hey Jensen, Bomer, prettiest boy in the world. He goes, yep. It's pretty. He's actually prettier in person, which is really disarming. He is absolutely stunningly beautiful. And he's also incredibly nice. And then to make it worse, he's ridiculously talented. So it's like I want to kill him sometimes. Can't work out if I want to kill him or kiss him.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I...
Oh, don't worry about it. You've redeemed yourself beautifully by making that announcement. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mark.
Too high. Bring it in.
I'm a natural soprano. What do you want me
wow,
to
it's
do?
getting higher.
Okay, so
What?
first off, I was going to ask you about your shirt, but obviously that question's been answered already. So I've been standing here in the freezing cold. I'm so cold right now. Where are you so cold in here.
Step outside. It's 194 degrees.
That's true. That's summer in Oklahoma for you.
Or hell, as we call it.
So what I wanted to ask is if you could have acted in any of the scenes or episodes of Supernatural before you showed up, before Crowley showed up as a character.
I never saw an episode before I showed up. Or after I
You
left.
still haven't?
No. Busy. Of course I saw some stuff. It doesn't matter to me. I play Crowley. Crowley's who I like playing. It was a gift. It was a wonderful gift to do, and I think the best characters on the show helped morph the show to be what it is, and also helped morph the Winchesters relationship to the people on the show. As you know, as they grow and grow older, I mean, it's a long time to be on a TV show. Very long time. It's amazing. I love the fact that how many of you guys didn't come to Supernatural before the last 5 years? Put your hands up. Liars. How many of you, this is your first convention? Holy shit, look around, look behind you. Look behind you, everybody. Wow, that's amazing to me. So you're talking about, it is a show that is not necessarily just of its time. It's a show that seems to be standing some of the test of time. And what's funny to me is, I can't remember who said it to me, but you're meeting Jared and Jensen, and the Jared and Jensen from season 1 are like their kids. They are genuinely
I wasn't
20
alive.
years younger.
I wasn't alive when that was filmed.
You weren't.
I was not alive.
Nor was I. But that's a different story. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, they're grown men with kids, you know, families, wives. I remember when they didn't have kids, you know? Jensen's daughter's born on my birthday. My daughter's born on Jensen's birthday. And Jared has a kid called Sheppard. That was the strangest day at work. Coming off hiatus, and he said to the kid, call Shep. And I'm walking on, and he's like, where you are now, and I'm walking towards him, I'm going. He's like, yeah, well, Jen likes the name. Well, at least you don't hate me. Would have vetoed it. I love you all, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am going to go to my table after this. So if any of you haven't caught me for either selfies or autos, I will be at the table. Come visit these bastards at the merch table at some point.
we're also doing autographs and selfies.
You're going to be there, right? You're doing autographs
Yeah,
and selfies?
when I'm not here,
Absolutely.
I'm there.
Oh, you doing it there?
Right there.
Yeah, like where I'll be.
That's what I'm saying. Come by and say hi.
No, I'll be at my
Next door.
table.
Oh, yeah, I'll come
We're going to be
by
ready.
and
I'll
say hi.
wait for you from my
Yeah,
table
I'll
to
wait.
your table.
Yeah.
We'll throw stuff to each other. We love you all. Thank you for being here. See you.